who were with us previously, and congratulations to those of you who have been re-elected, and also congratulations to the new members. Those of you who were here before will be familiar with what I'm going to say about our Teams meetings, but it may be new to those of you who are new members. So we do have a protocol about how we conduct these meetings, and those of you who are familiar with any form of Teams meeting, you'll know that the best way for us to proceed is for everybody to be on mute unless they are indicating to speak and then asked to speak. Only when you are asked to speak by the Mayor can you please unmute yourself, say what it is that you have to say, and then place yourself back on mute. If you have a question when the chair has opened the floor for questions, or if you have a comment during the period which is available for comments, can you please press the virtual hand so that your hand goes up, and we will be able to call you in order of your hands going up. We have had some difficulties where if you get a little bit too impatient with that symbol, it won't come up. So you just need to press it once and then don't press it again. It will then appear, and only press it again when you need to put your hand back down. If for any reason you have cause to leave the meeting, can you please indicate to the chair that you have to leave? And we are clear that if you are not here for the whole of the debate, you may not vote on that issue. So we have to rely on members to be very confident that they know whether they can or can't vote, and to let us know if they can or can't vote. We need to be disciplined about the order in which we deal with matters. The Mayor is going to invite a member to introduce a report, which will be moved and seconded. You will then be invited to ask questions. Once all the questions are finished, the Mayor will invite you to make comments or give observations. You can't swap those around. Once questions are finished, you may not ask a question, and you may not make comments during the question session. That must only be questions. Can I ask everybody to leave their camera on? That is the elected members. Can you please leave your camera on throughout? Because if you don't, we aren't then able to see your raised hand if you're either looking to ask a question or if you are voting. And then finally, I can just tell you that when it comes to the recommendation and to voting, I will ask you to vote by asking anybody who wishes to abstain to vote first, then those voting against to vote next, and then finally we will deal with those voting in favour. That order is simply because it's easier for Democratic Services to count the votes if we go in that way. So, Mr. Mayor, we are now past the time when the meeting needs to commence, and so I will ask all officers and guests to ensure that their cameras are turned off and that everybody is on mute as long as they don't need to speak. And I'll also ask Democratic Services to start recording, which they have done already, and then I will hand over to you, Mr. Mayor, to start the meeting.
Thank you, Monitoring Officer. Can I ask if Councillor David Isaac has joined the meeting, and if he hasn't, are we going to wait or are we going to continue?
As it's a public meeting, Mr. Mayor, we really should proceed unless there's a particular difficulty that somebody can make us aware of with Councillor Isaac. I know Councillor Scott Thomas, you were speaking to him. Is he able to join us now?
It's still an ongoing issue at the moment, and is trying to help him on the scene.
Is he?
So we are still trying to find it. Should be in shortly.
Is he able to hear the meeting from where he is?
Potentially he could, but I would have to obviously set the speakers to obviously for him to be able to hear it, as I got obviously headphones on.
Sure. I'm just thinking that might be a way forward while we try and sort out that difficulty for him, unless that's going to cause too much of a problem with feedback.
It is. He is here, as you can see.
He won't be able to vote if we're doing it that way, or ask questions, but just while this is sorted out so that we can get the meeting started, Mr. Mayor, that may be a way that we can let Councillor Isaac be present whilst the reports are introduced and then progressed. And then that might assist us so that we can get the meeting started, which we should really now do.
Right. Caris had just been advised that he can hear the meeting.
There
So
we-
obviously if you do progress, we can carry on trying to get him signed in the meantime.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Mr Mayor.
Okay, lovely. Thank you both. Prynawn croeso I cyfarfod. Diolch I chi gyd am dod. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Full Council meeting of Wednesday, 8th of June 2022. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and may be broadcast via the authority's internet site. The images and sound recording may be used for training purposes within the authority. Agenda item number 1, apologies for absence. Can I ask if any apologies have been received?
No, Mr Mayor, not that I've heard of.
No apologies have been received, Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest?
Again, none have been reported to me, Mr Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Monitoring Officer. Agenda item number 4, appointment to committees. To consider the report of the Chief Executive, Councillor Andrew Barry will be presenting this report.
Thank you, Chair. Appointment.
I'm sorry to interrupt at that point. I think we may have just jumped over the approval of the previous minutes, Mr Mayor.
Monitor Officer, I do apologise. Right, agenda item number 3, minutes of previous meetings, which covers reports 3A to 3G. To approve as accurate the minutes of the meetings. Do we have a proposer or someone to move this agenda item?
I'm happy to move the item, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Geraint Thomas. And do we have a seconder for this agenda item?
Happy to second that, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Andrew Barry. And can we put it to the vote then, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can I ask all members who wish to abstain on this item, can you please show now? Thank you. Can I ask any member voting against, can you please show now? Thank you. And can I ask any member voting in favour, please show now?
I can't see on my screen. Democratic, can you see if everyone has voted?
We do have everyone now. Thank you, Mr Mayor, and that is carried unanimously.
Lovely. Thank you, Monitoring Officer. If everybody wants to lower their hands, please. Okay, this time we'll go on to agenda item number 4, appointment to committees 2022-2023. To consider the report of the Chief Executive, and Councillor Andrew Barry will be presenting this report.
Okay, thank you, Mr Mayor. The appointment to committees 22-23. We are here following the deferral of this item from the AGM. The procedures outlined within the report are contained within the Council's constitution. Councillor Geraint Thomas, the leader, now being the leader of the Council, has outlined his cabinet within the report, and with the changes to the Audit Committee now being the Governance and Audit Committee, the like of which we'll be watching with great interest, and myself and other members. Both leader and leader of the Labour Group have discussed populating the various seats to accommodate the various legislative requirements, cabinet scrutiny, etc., etc. We've been notified on what's not published within the current report as it stands. Those nominations from the Labour Group. We now have received those nominations from the Labour Group. The appointments, as indicated, will be added to those contained within the report and published in the supplement on the Council's web page where the current papers are published. The supplement will be published in the morning, that's the 9th of June. We did discuss, Monitoring Officer, the naming all the officers, but I think that will suffice. Would you agree with that?
Yes, as long as that's acceptable to Council, that's fine.
Okay. I'll take you to the recommendations then at 2.1, the appointment of members to Cabinet be noted, and 2.2, the appointment of members to committee as contained within the report be accepted. Do I need to make an addendum to that to say that the the supplement will be published then, Margaret Officer? Or was that suffice because I've already mentioned it within the...
That will suffice. That's fine.
Okay. In that case, I move. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Barry. Do we have a seconder, Councillor Leader Geraint Thomas?
Yes, happy to second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Geraint. Any questions from members? Councillor Brent Carter has his hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Can I just ask Councillor Barry to elaborate on his comments of you'll take in great interest on see what happens with the Governance and Audit Committee, please?
Certainly, Councillor Garrett, it's only from a perspective of, we've had the due diligence and experience of Councillor Clive Jones for many, many years on audit. And now that's changed with the new legislation. And I know when that came in, not all of us were happy with that because we felt that perhaps it was undermining the abilities of councillors in some regard, particularly as Clive had done such a great job. And it was just to watch how that develops and ensure that we remain and keep the same standards that we had under the previous regime and so on.
That's great, thank you.
Any other questions from members? No. Okay. We're going to comments. Any comments from members? Councillor Darren Roberts.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to thank Councillor Barry for his kind comments there. Like Councillor Barry, I had concerns about the way that the Governance and Audit Committee changed with its arrangements, and I, like Councillor Barry, will be looking forward with great interest because I'm now still part of that committee to see how things do play out. But thank you for your kind words for Councillor Jones, which are rightly put because he did a sterling job in the chair for the last 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Anybody else have comments? No? Okay. Can we put this to the vote then, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So can I ask any members who wish to abstain on this item, please show now. Thank you. Any members who wish to vote against, please show now. Thank you. Any members voting for this recommendation, please vote now. And that's carried, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Monitoring Officer. If everyone can lower their hand, please. Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 5, representatives to other bodies 2022 to 2023 to consider the report of the Chief Executive. Again, Councillor Andrew Barry will be presenting this report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Representative bodies, other representative bodies. Again, as with the previous report, the procedures outlined within the report are contained within the Constitution. Leaders outlined representatives to those bodies, along with consultation with Councillor Dan Roberts, leader of the Labour Group. There are some positions still outstanding. I have a list of those: Capital Glamorgan Consultancy, Joint Committee, Consortium of Local Authorities in Wales, Industrial Communities Alliance, Loicoi Crematorium, Joint Committee, the Leisure Trust, SACRA, Taffec and Nature Reserve, and Wales Council for the Blind, the Labour representative. I'm sure we can resolve that by passing that list through the leader to yourself there, Darren, so that we can pick up those positions. We also need some clarity on the Heritage Trust participation. There just needs to be a conversation whether that remains just the Heritage Champion to represent us on that, and we need some clarity around the Nuclear Free Council representation. Again, just a conversation between yourself, Darren, and the leader. And the Public Service Board, we're waiting on advice from the PSB, from Democratic. So there are still a number of issues that we need to resolve on the outside bodies. Brief conversations just to make sure that we've covered all bases. And again, we'll publish that as a supplement then so that the public are clear as to who will be representing the council on those outside bodies. I'll then take you to the recommendations as they stand. The representation set out in paragraph 6 of the report be accepted. 2.2, delegated authority be granted to the political leaders to nominate replacement representatives to any vacant, unfilled posts and to supply such agreed nomination to the Chief Executive. I'll move that, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Barry. Do we have a seconder?
Happy to second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Leader Geraint Thomas. Any questions from members? None indicating. Any comments from members? None indicating. So can we put this to the vote then, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And again, can I ask all members wishing to abstain on this item, please show now. Thank you. All members wishing to vote against, please show now. Thank you. All members wishing to vote for, please vote now. And that's carried, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Monitoring Officer. Can I ask everyone to lower their hands, please? Councillor Gareth Richards. Lovely, thank you very much. Agenda item number 6, petition received by the authority is an information report only. Agenda item number 7, Welsh language annual report 2021-2022 is also an information report only. Agenda item number 8, to deal with any other urgent business or correspondence, there is none. And agenda item number 9, to receive communications received by His Worship the Mayor, I haven't received any. So I think that is it, a short meeting, and I formally declare this meeting closed. Thank you very much for everyone for coming.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Mayor.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you, Mr.
See
Mayor.
you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank
Good night.
you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.